Have you ever stopped to ask yourself when you started to disconnect from yourself? Maybe it was that moment you held back your tears just to avoid appearing weak. Or when you accepted a job you hated because it was the right thing to do. Maybe it was even earlier, back in childhood, when you realized that showing too much of who you were caused people to feel strange, and so you learned to hide. The truth is, most of us live with the feeling that something is off. We don't know exactly what it is or where it started, but we feel it, like a background noise that never quiets. As if we're always busy, always functioning, but never truly living. And the scariest thing, we get used to it. We numb ourselves. We call this lukewarm version of existence normal life. That's why so many people reach their 30s, 40s, 50s feeling like they've lost something along the way, as if they're playing a role they didn't write, as if you were living inside a life you didn't choose, you just accepted it. And no one realizes this overnight. It's a slow awakening, sometimes painful. It starts with small doubts. You wake up one ordinary day, look around and think, is this really all there is to it? The next you realize that conversations that once made sense now irritate you. And when you try to explain yourself, no one understands. They say it's just stress, that it's just a phase. But it's not. You know it's not. Because the pain you feel is existential. It's a fracture between who you are and who you've been pretending to be. The world has trained us so well to pretend, to appear strong, productive, interesting. But inside, our souls are suffocated. There's an excess of noise and an absurd lack of truth. And maybe that's why, even surrounded by people, you feel alone. Because if no one knows who you really are, then no one is truly with you. There are people who spend their entire lives in this state of emotional slumber. They live like social zombies, fulfilling obligations, but without a soul, without presence, without essence. But with you, something started to change. Something inside refused to stay asleep. And that's why you're here, listening to this. Because this pain you feel, this restlessness that won't go away, it's not the end. It's the beginning. It's the call to return to yourself. But this return isn't always pretty. Often it comes in the form of a collapse. You start to lose interest in everything that was once a priority. The career that seemed solid now feels like a prison. Relationships become shallow and repetitive. Emotional addictions, those behaviors you didn't even notice, become evident. And all of this leaves you even more lost, because you no longer have anything to lean on. But it's precisely in this emptiness that something new can be born. Because it's there, when all certainties crumble, that the truth begins to approach. It's in this uncomfortable space that you begin to realize how much you were living under conditioning, how much your choices stemmed more from fear than desire, how much your actions were reflections of what was expected of you, and not what you truly wanted. And then, for the first time, you find yourself facing an unfiltered mirror, and it asks you, do you still want to keep living like this? It's a painful question, because the answer most of the time is no. But yes still feels safer. It's still the familiar, the acceptable, the validated. But the soul no longer wants security, it wants truth. And perhaps that's why so many people feel in crisis at this stage of life. Because you can no longer sustain the lie. Because your body begins to sicken, your mind begins to scream, and the dreams you abandoned begin to visit you in the wee hours. You feel a lump in your throat, a nameless anguish, a shortness of breath in the midst of a life full of tasks. And this is one of the greatest pains of our time, being too busy to listen to our own soul. We've learned to be productive, to deliver results, to not disturb. But no one has taught us to be whole, to listen to ourselves, to exist with presence. And that's what awakening demands. It's not about dropping everything and living isolated in the mountains. It's not about abandoning life. It's about rebuilding it with meaning. It's about stopping living on autopilot and starting to ask questions that truly matter. What moves me? What am I doing with my time? Which is the one thing I'll never get back? Am I truly living or just surviving? And maybe right now you don't have answers, but just asking these questions already puts you on the right path. Because change doesn't start outside. It starts inside, in the silence, in the pain you've been avoiding, in the discomfort you've tried to ignore. The truth is, for many people, true awakening doesn't happen in a magical moment. It begins with tiredness, with exhaustion, with the desire to disappear. And it's there, at that breaking point, that you find a choice. You can keep pretending. You can put on your best mask and continue being the version of yourself that pleases the world. Or you can start to strip yourself of all that. You can face your shadows, your traumas, your pain. You can decide, even if you're trembling, to take a step toward your own truth. It's not easy. No one said it would be, but it's the only path that leads to freedom. And if you've made it this far, it's because something inside you already knows this. You already feel it. So take a deep breath, feel it, don't run away. Everything you're experiencing now is part of a larger process, a process that will lead you back home, back to yourself. And this is just the beginning. Thank you from the bottom of our hearts for watching all the way through. If you like this one, just imagine what's coming next. Don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the notification bell so you won't miss a single amazing discovery. Share it with someone you love and come explore even more content we've prepared with care just for you.